is First Step. Hey, welcome to the First Step podcast. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Kevin. With me today, we have a full slate, everybody. We've got Charlie Pigskin right over here. Under me, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Javi. And over here in this corner, we have Stupid Stu. Ooh, we got guns. I like that move, Stu.
Oh, ready to see some
and,
picks.
and Kevin bringing the charisma today.
Oh, I'm always doing full of charisma.
I love it. Fired up.
They call me Charisma Kev. That's my nickname. That's what they've been calling me since I was 2. Charisma
Pretty
Kev.
sure I feel like you just made that up.
Yeah, no, I was Fat Kev. I was the Fat Kevin. That was me.
That checks out. That checks.
All right, I'm pretty sure Carlos used to call me Kevin, the big Kev, instead of little
That's
Kev.
just big Kev, yeah.
Yeah.
It was started by your captain. It was started by Vic. It wasn't me.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
call you Big Kev too.
Yeah, you know what? And we're not talking about my size, people. We're not talking about it's my personality. That's big personality.
Yeah, charisma, the riz, the heart.
The heart.
Everything.
I did it because of your size.
The golf game. Congrats
The
to
golf
Kev.
games. Hey.
Tournament winner.
Oh yeah, I haven't
Tournament winner.
congratulated you yet.
Listen, I put
For the
people to
listeners
shame.
that don't know, Kev won our golf. We're in a big golf league with 50, 60 people. Kev won this month's tournament
Yeah, I mean, it's
with a net 66.
net 66. Then we don't talk about the actual score, but the net 66 is what we need to talk about here.
That's
okay?
all that matters. That's the only number
That's
that
all
matters.
that
That's the
matters.
only number
That's
that
the only
matters.
thing that matters. Yeah, thank you guys so much for sucking at golf more than I suck at golf normally, so I could win that this month. I really appreciate it. Other than that, college football, great last week. It was a little bit of a coaster week for most schools, but we had a lot of fun games, a few surprises, right? We saw Notre Dame. Not the same team that they used to be, right? Took an L there. I don't know where Notre Dame's at. I don't really want to jump into this week already on Notre Dame, but a surprising loss.
I wasn't surprised. They're always overrated. Fuck Notre Dame.
So what I think about Notre Dame is, man, if Notre Dame doesn't win out, do they make the playoff? Because they don't really play anybody worth talking about, right? Like they play Louisville and nobody else really worth mentioning. I want to say that they have to win out in order to get a college football playoff. And I will be surprised even if they go undefeated, do they get that automatic bid in?
They got to win every other game, but anyone who loses to Northern Illinois at home, with Riley Leonard's now hurt, isn't passing the ball well, I just don't think they run the table. They don't have a hard schedule, but a team that has that low of a floor offensively, I just think at some point they're going to trip up, whether it's Louisville or someone else.
Yeah,
Marcus Freeman's lost 2 games now, and this is starting his 3rd year. Lost to Marshall as a double-digit favorite. Lost to Stanford as a 28-point favorite.
Yeah.
That seat's getting hot for him. They got to worry about making a bowl game. They play USC and FSU later in the year, but playoffs, no chance. If you can't throw the ball like they can, they haven't even thrown a passing touchdown yet. And they brought in all those grad transfers. They're in big trouble.
We're going to have a 12-team college football playoff, and they're going to take even an 11-1, even if they do go undefeated. Do you think they get a bit? Think about it. Like, they don't really beat anybody, though.
If they win out, they're in just because of name recognition. They always get, dude, they were ranked 5 in the country with nothing. Like, there was no reason for them to be ranked that high. Just the fact that they're Notre Dame.
No,
and
if they're 11-1, they'll make it and they'll deserve it because they'll be on a 10-game win streak. They'll have wins over Louisville, Texas A&M, USC. I think they play Stanford too. Like they're just not.
They're not going 11-1 though.
That's the thing.
They're not. It's not going to happen.
It's a moot point.
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it at the end of college football. I'm gonna talk about the college football playoff where we're sitting right now, and it's really surprising, and I really do see them on the outside looking in, even if they go undefeated. But I'm going to go through some picks here. You guys give me your reactions. Obviously, if I'm crazy, you guys let me know. But I'm going to start here. Arizona State, Texas State. I like here, and Stu, we were talking right before the show here. I like this. Right now, I just checked the line. You got minus half point at minus 105, Texas State. That started at plus 1.5. Now it's at a half point. I kind of Texas State here. What do you think, Stupid Stu?
Kenny Dillingham against G.J. Kinn. This is a pretty interesting game. If Texas State can find a way to pull off this upset, I know it's close to a pick 'em, they're going to be favored for every single game for the rest of the season. So they're going to have a chance to get into this playoff conversation. They're playing really well on offense, top scoring offense, and then Ben Bell's been killing it on defense. They're the big pass rusher for them. I lean Arizona State. I'm not taking it as an official pick, but Sam Levitt's been good at QB, and then Cam Scatterborough is playing really well. The running back, he's been turning heads. Everyone loves watching this kid play. So this is a Thursday night game. It's exciting because college football has been horrible on Thursday, but this one has little implications already early in the season. So
you're shitting on my half point on Texas State. Is that what you're saying?
no, this is the biggest game in Texas State for a long time. They haven't played a Power 4 team at a home game with this magnitude in their entire program history. They're going to get up. The stadium's about 30,000 people. It's going to be wild. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I just lean with the Scatterbo kid, man. He's really good.
Dude, the Bobcats just destroyed UTSA. Getting Arizona State at home, it's a nice little matchup. I like them here. I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch. I like the Bobcats this year. I think they're going to be not incredible, but good. Chucky, what do you think about this game?
Man, I don't have a play either way. I think
So
it's two teams. No, I would lean Texas State for sure because I just think home game, like all the metrics point them as two very similar teams. Obviously, Arizona State's going to have the talent advantage. It's second year under Dillingham, but I would lean Texas State. Probably won't play it, but yeah, that's it. And Texas State's not that good. Like they're just not.
But they're good.
You know,
they're good enough. They're good enough to win beat Arizona State.
I think SP Plus has them as the 73rd best team, but Arizona State is 62nd. So we're talking about two pretty middling teams. With Texas State at home, huge environment. There's going to be a lot of wind behind their sails. So I would lean Texas State.
That's what I like to hear. Stupid Stu being stupid. That's my favorite place where he's at. Next game I have here, I have UNLV at Kansas. I believe that's also that's a Friday night game, I believe. I like the spread here at +7.5. UNLV at -115. I think that offense has a lot of scoring abilities, and their defense hasn't been bad this year at all. I like them at +7.5. I think they could take it to Kansas. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than most people think. Chucky, what do you think?
I would definitely lean V here. I think one theory I have that I think we're going to have to see play out more this year and in the coming years with the playoff is I think teams like Kansas, like teams in the Big 12 and the ACC, you're going to see them playing a lot more for that conference bid to get into the playoffs, way more than playing for caring about their non-conference games. Because at the end of the day, if Kansas State, Iowa State, teams like that, unless it's a rivalry game, the games that matter are winning those conference games and winning the conference. That's all that really matters. So I think you'll see teams. We saw Kansas State last week with Avery Johnson against Tulane, not really open up the playbook, not really rely on Avery Johnson's legs. And I think that was on purpose. I think that's something they're waiting to unleash and keep him fresh. And I could see something similar happening for Kansas. They lost Andy Kotelnicki, their offensive coordinator, who I think is doing really well already with Penn State. And I think they're still trying to find their sea legs right now offensively. Like that was a dynamite offense down the stretch last year. And I think you're not going to see that full unleashing of Jalen Daniels and everything they can do until they get into conference play. So I would lean UNLV.
Stu, what do you think about taking the over? I saw it there at 56.5. I don't know if that line's moved. What do you think about taking the over?
The over, it's already, I think, been hit and moved up a little because, like you said, UNLV's offense under Barry Odom has been able to move the ball and score impressive this year. We talked about this UNLV team after week one. They were looking like the best group of five team. My issue, I'm not taking it, but I lean against your guys' play here. I actually lean with the Jayhawks and Lance Leipold just because the spot. You're coming off a loss to Illinois where they really should have outplayed them. They turned the ball over 4 times. One time was a pick 6. You just can't do that. And now you're at a Friday night coming home. And Kansas last year was covering everything on Friday nights. So I just don't like this spot early in the season here. I do think UNLV is a really good team. I think they're going to hang around with them. I just get worried about this, about a late runaway.
Kansas didn't score. Their offense didn't score last week, right?
Their passing attack has been struggling this year compared to normal. But like I said, part of it's probably to what Charlie was talking about. They lost Andy Kotelnicki, the unbelievable offensive coordinator for Penn State. He's been doing unbelievable over there. They're off to a slow start, but I just think they can get back to it at home. We saw this with FIU the other week. You turn the ball over a lot one game, and then you just rally at home.
Listen, I told you guys something about FIU. What did I say? At Pitbull Stadium, we're unstoppable.
1-0. 1-0.
305 all the
Undefeated.
way, Mr. Worldwide.
Undefeated.
I don't know why anyone was in doubt. Like people are surprised that FIU scored 50 points at Pitbull Stadium. Get out of here, dude. Where we're serving freaking fireball shots and margaritas and mojitos the entire time. It was incredible. Next game I have here.
Ted, did you go to the game?
So
Or the
as an
tailgate, at least?
as an FIU Golden Panther, I refuse to go to any game. I went there for 4 years. I did tailgating for 4 years. Never saw a game actually at the stadium. I've only tailgated for FIU. I've never walked into the stadium. I can't even tell you where the 50-yard line is. I have no idea. I've stumbled near around the stadium, never walked in it. But I will go to a few games this year. I just couldn't make it, obviously.
I went to one game back when they had TY.
Oh, TY. I used to just do TY in the halls of FIU. I would see him. I go TY. But I couldn't go to the game. You couldn't force me to go to the game. We were god awful.
I think we should do a first step tailgate and a little outing to Pitbull Stadium this year.
Fun fact: I had an ice luge at a FIU football tailgate. I had ice luges, and I had the mascot. There's pictures somewhere around there in the interverse of our mascot Rory taking a shot down an ice luge for my tailgate.
That's
You see
recreated.
Kevin's tailgates being very elaborate.
Yeah, I also cooked multiple pigs before. UMFIU had 2 lechons going. It was beautiful. I had beautiful things, beautiful ideas.
Love it.
All right, next game, Arizona, Kansas State. I like the over here at 58, -110. I think these teams just don't have any defense and they could score. So I like the over here at 58. I don't know if you guys have anything on these games.
I do. I have Kansas State -7 in this one. This is the battle of the Wildcats, so this is exciting. This is also a in-conference game that does not count as a conference game. This because they agreed to this a long time ago. Arizona's coming in with the longest FBS win streak in the country. Jed Fish out, Brett Brennan in. To me, Arizona's just not been impressive at all. Close game week 1 with New Mexico at half, who's looked awful since the opening week, and then down to Northern Arizona at halftime. They're struggling against the run. They were awful against the dual threat quarterback in week 1, and I just think Avery Johnson's going to be a little too much for them. I think Kansas State was lucky to win last week, but that's just how college football is. Move on, and the issue with K-State is going to be their secondary is pretty weak, and they're going against a really good passing attack here, especially one that struggled last week, and they're going to look to get that back on pace. But I think Kansas State is just the better team here, and they're going to be too much for them.
Yeah, don't forget, there's also on the other side Noah Fafita. I don't know if I'm saying that. Also, stud QB.
All right.
Again, I think it's a high-flying offense, not a great defense. Not great defense on either side. I like the total on the over here. You said you had Kansas State?
-7, yeah. Arizona's 0-2 against the spread this season. I'm going to sell them all I can, man. The public hasn't adjusted yet. They've been playing late night. They've been in these games versus bad teams late. And a new coach, it's just I don't think they're going to be able to figure it out this quick.
Yeah, I saw somewhere that the Arizona should be probably getting closer to 6 than anything.
Yeah. One other thing is Kansas State struggled with getting a little bit of the play calls in, playing on the road the last couple of weeks. They moved at a really slow pace, one of the slowest 118th tempo in the country. Now they're going to get back home. I think they're going to be able to get those play calls in better. Hopefully their mics work better. I think Kansas State is going to have a big game this week.
Chucky, you have any plays on this?
Yeah, I got Kansas State -7. I haven't placed it yet because I'm hoping to get 6 and a hook maybe and get on the other side of that number. But I do plan on putting something on Kansas State before the weekend. Bottom line is, I think Arizona, I love Fafita and I hate betting against him. And they got weapons, maybe the best QB receiver tandem in the country. But at the end of the day, they lost. Jed Fish left for them in the middle of spring ball after the winter transfer portal had closed. They lost so many players to Washington, and I think they haven't been very impressive outside of their like raw offensive numbers the first 2 weeks, and really that was only week 1. So there's more of a little fade Arizona. I just think they're not as good as the headlines from week 1. They gave up 39 points to New Mexico, so I'm just fading them a bit.
Awesome. Next game I have here, Jav, you're gonna love this game. Alabama at Wisconsin. I got the spread here. Alabama at -15.5. I feel. Fuck Wisconsin. Tyler Van Dyke has hurt my soul too many times against an Alabama who's just came off a decently close game against USF. We talked about that game, how they came close the year before. They were competitive in the first half of this game this last week. But, man, I think Alabama's going to come in strong. And if there's one quarterback that I do not trust in college football today, is Tyler Van Dyke. If they gave me player props, I would bet the over on interceptions.
I was about to say,
I would bet the under on pass attempts. I would bet a broken leg, something. I would bet all the unders on Tyler Van Dyke.
Stu said it, I think, a couple weeks ago. He's bet against Tyler Van Dyke every week.
Oh God!
I believe me, I did. Right when this line came out, I took Bama at minus 15.5. It's one of my favorite plays of the week.
Yeah,
Tyler Van Dyke's a statue. He's a statue. They're already talking about it in Wisconsin. We heard this all year in Miami. They're saying he looks injured. They're asking if he's hurt. No, he just sucks. That's really just it.
He's just a fucking cone.
His QBR is outside of the top 100 nationally. Wisconsin's top linebackers out for a targeting in the first half. They just lost their nose tackle. They're giving up the most yards before contact in the Power 5. They got a pocket passer statue in there. Alabama had a game versus USF, but USF, Byron Brown was a very athletic quarterback. That's usually how you beat traditionally Alabama. You have that dual threat quarterback. I'll tell you, There's no duel and there's no threat with Tyler Van Dyke.
There's no duel.
Only funny thing here is
there's no single. Yeah. There's no mono with Tyler Van Dyke.
The only thing Madison has on its side is history. Wisconsin's 3-0 as a dog over 10 points in the non-conference. But let me tell you, that stat can go down the toilet when you're playing Alabama because Jalen Milroe, man, he's got a cannon. And once they figure out how to work the intermediate game, he's already figured out that connection with Ryan Williams. And the run game with Jam Miller already looks good. They're getting 10.3 yards pass per attempt a play. That's 10th and 16th in the country. Man, Wisconsin better start. They're going to get blown off out of the stadium.
Yeah. Absolutely agree. Carl, do you have a bet on this, on a line on this one?
I got to go through a little bit on this one. I've been to Camp Randall, so I've seen the magic of Camp Randall. I've seen jump around at the end of the third quarter. I've seen how crazy those Wisconsin guys. I saw my brother throw up off too many spotted cows right there on the people in front of me at Camp Randall. So I know what that place can do. I saw Purdue get absolutely blown out. But that was a different Wisconsin team, and that was Jonathan Taylor and a great Wisconsin team. This is not that. Luke Fickell's been a dud, I think, so far. Tyler Van Dyke, I don't believe in. I don't believe in this Bama team at all either. I thought last week Byron Brown was awful. He just kept missing wide open scheme people everywhere. I think this defense is going to catch up to them for Bama. I think they're starting to figure out what they want to do offensively, and I think you'll see Milroe unleashed at some point. I do think Bama covers, but I think it's more because of Wisconsin just not being what they should be than anything.
Yeah. Do I have to ask you on who you're going for here?
No, I'm like Stu. I took this actually pretty early in the week too at 15.5 bet against Tyler Van Dyke. It's like easy play for me every week.
Yeah, just because he sucks. Yeah, it's a great move. Screw Tyler Van Dyke. He is the succubus of all things college football. Next game don't have the lines in front of me because I took the ticket that I wanted to take too late, so I didn't see it. Memphis at Florida State. I was thinking about taking the over here. I believe, Stu, you told us earlier before we started the pod it was at 51. I do the over there set at 51. The point spread was at 1.5. Is that right?
No, it's Florida State's a 6.5 point favorite, and the over-under is 51.5 right now.
So give me the over at 51 FSU. What do you guys feel about FSU? I know they've been god-awful this year, but I feel like Memphis is not good.
I like the spot for FSU. I took this one on Sunday, so I got FSU at 4.5 right at the open. It's moved up to 6.5. Do I like FSU covering over a touchdown? FSU's not very good this year. That's tough if you don't get a good number. But they are coming off the bye. They don't have a win now. I do actually think Mike Norvell's a good coach. I think this is college football. You find teams that rally under the situation, and FSU's this seems like a spot. Norvell going against his old team. This seems like a spot where he rallies. I like the Noles.
Yeah, I like it too.
I would lean Memphis where it's at right now. I think 6.5 is just wildly different than what Vegas power ratings and a lot of these metrics have it at. I don't know if I'm going to bet it because I think all the fundamentals point to Florida State just being a more talented team, coming off a bye and a chance to regroup and find themselves. But I think when it opened at 4.5, I thought that was way more attractive. I think at 6.5, it would be tough to jump on that and jump on Florida State on that number.
What do you think about Florida State this year?
I think they're trash, and it's beautiful to
They're
watch.
trash.
They are really bad. I do think that they'll win this game, though. They're not going to lose 3 in a row. I say that with little boss, kind of like
This
Javi
is
guy.
this is a very losable game. Like very losable.
Listen, Memphis. That's the thing with Memphis, dude. They're like one of these. Man, I don't want to call them giant killers. Not giant killers, but Memphis isn't bad enough. FSU is bad enough to lose this game. If that makes more sense.
Yeah, I still think they get it together. I'm not sure. I'm not sure they would cover a touchdown with you guys there. I would have bet it on that 4.5 number, but I didn't get it. But I do think I do think they win this game, though.
What about my overtake? Are you guys all? If you think
No,
that
I'm not touching any FSU overs.
it's pretty low for a call.
It doesn't matter unless they get blown out
27,
and Memphis puts up.
24.
Yeah, no. See, I don't. I can't see this FSU team scoring 24 points. Like,
Oh, I was gonna give him the 27. So you're a monster.
or
I think
27.
FSU, they're just going to run the ball. They're going to be so reliant on their run game, I think. And like to hit overs, I think you got to have a team that can hit explosive plays, and FSU just hasn't proven to be able to do that. I think they're going to take the air out of the ball a little bit and try to, they're going to be run first for sure with DJ back. We've seen what DJ is, and that's, I don't think they're going to necessarily go out there gun ho just relying on him. So I think it's a low enough number that the over is not a bad play. I think it opened at a bigger number and came down a bit. So I think it's around 51, 52.
Yeah.
But this FSU, it's just, I could see betting the over and getting really frustrated watching DJU just sail passes over receivers 5 yards in front of him. So
could you imagine?
He had a little chemistry with Portier at the end, though. And maybe if Hakeem Williams gets back or some other playmaker, they can do something on the perimeter. But it's tough to take overs right now. I'm with Javi. It's really tough. With that.
He's got to turn
me,
into
what's
a
crazy?
big bust, huh?
DJ? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
He's been doing this for 3 years. We saw 3 years of this. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's
I'm
more of the
saying
same.
from the prospect that he was.
I just think,
From his,
I just
from
think
his
that
I mean,
FSU,
they had him as the next Deshaun Watson at Clemson.
No, he's
Like,
number one
He
overall
was the
player.
next coming number one overall player. Came in, didn't really do well. Transfers out. Looks worse now.
not great.
Yeah, his best game was a true freshman on the road against Notre Dame when Clemson almost beat them.
Do we think that? Can you imagine us talking this way, like about Florida State summer of this year? No, we would have said, "Oh, this is an easy 17-point spread on Memphis. Take it easily." And here we are. We're like, "Ooh, 1.5, 2, 6 points. I don't know, maybe." It's wild to me, dude. FSU's just fallen off in the last few weeks, and it's crazy. Next game I have LSU at South Carolina. Man, Stu, this game is a tough one for me. I was with you on South Carolina. I was over them. And now I'm back on the South Carolina train. I like them here. I don't know why. I have the South Carolina at plus 7.5 at -1 or plus 7 at -115. I think I like them here against LSU. I don't know why they had some mediocre games. They don't look super impressive. Didn't do anything fun in the transfer portal. I think I like South Carolina here. They took down Kentucky, Old Dominion. Not super fun wins, but wins nonetheless. What do you think about this game?
There's one thing this is college game day. So that's big for South Carolina.
Oh, I did not know this was game day.
This is game day. One thing this is my take on this. I'm waiting until this tip-off to kick off and to bet this game. There's supposed to be some really bad weather coming into the Kentucky-Georgia game and potentially this LSU-South Carolina game. And I do think the weather can completely change the dynamic of this game. With good weather, I actually like LSU. I think their offense is really good. Their tackles are really good. They'll be able to handle this South Carolina defensive front. And I really like Kyron Lacey, the guy out there catching touchdowns and shooting shotguns at people in the end zone or whatever he's doing. But LSU's got some players that are making plays. One of the issues with LSU, they're not running the ball well. They're really bad at it right now. And their secondary is really weak. Secondary is allowing 10.2 pass yards at attempt. That's 120th in the country. And I just think the weather can affect this game, though, because if LSU is no rush game and it's an ugly game and they can't really throw the ball because of the weather, I can see South Carolina hanging around, like you're saying, and covering that number easily. It's just I'm waiting until kickoff to see what the weather looks like.
Dude, they had 10 sacks in South Carolina, 10 sacks in 2 games, 78 78 lost yards along those with quarterback hurries. I like their defense. I think South Carolina's got a really good defense. Now that you said it's game day, they have the fans are going to get into it. The fans are going to be super pumped. Obviously, South Carolina, LSU, great Southern football game. I don't know, man. This was a tough one. This is a tough one to put a line on. Chucky, what do you think?
I could not disagree with both of you more. I love LSU in this spot. Like, I think South Carolina, there's a team, yeah, last week they killed a Kentucky team that just looked completely lost. Horrible O-line that was completely overmatched with South Carolina's D-line. But the South Carolina's offense still looks awful. The Norris Sellers and like that team could barely move the ball against Old Dominion. There's a team still 2 weeks ago, only like barely beat Old Dominion by 4 points. There's still a Shane Beamer program. He's been there for 3 years. Doesn't have one impressive SEC win, and I don't think that starts this weekend. So give me LSU. One thing we've seen with Brian Kelly is he consistently starts really slow. He has a lot of bad non-conference opening wins, and then he's a really good coach who knows how to adjust and get the best out of his team out of that. I still trust LSU's distinct talent advantage. I think Garrett Nussmeier has already shown flashes. Yeah, the running game woes, and if there's a hurricane coming, it can change some things. But I think LSU is just a lot better team. I think last week's game against Kentucky with South Carolina threw people off the stink that is South Carolina's offense that I think is one of the worst in the SEC. So give me LSU. I just think they win by a couple touchdowns.
Are you taking them at the -7 number?
Yeah, I already put something on LSU, but I'm hoping to get them under -7 because right now at -7 it's -105. So I think we might see 6.5, which would be a nice number to bet it at.
That's what I was asking. 'Cause I'm on the same boat. I like LSU also, but I was waiting to see if it would drop. I was wondering if you thought it was going to drop also.
The numbers, by the way, the numbers like South Carolina in this spot. But again, I think there's some smoke and mirrors from what was a really weird game against Kentucky last week that I think has people overrating. Obviously, the home South Carolina is very tough to play in, so that's a real environment, like really tough to play in Williams-Brice.
And if the weather's not there,
game day matters and all that. But I think the talent advantage is huge, and I think the coaching advantage is huge. Like I just don't trust Shane Beamer in any game that matters.
I just really worry about that LSU. If the weather's good, I like LSU too, just for the record. I think they do cover that 7. If the weather's bad, LSU's offense is weird. They have no run game. They run these fake RPOs, and Nussmeier, he has no ability nobody respects it. So it's going to completely shut down that pass attack if it's nasty. And that South Carolina defense can take over the game, and that you could see some sloppy fumbles and snaps, just the way LSU's offense is. But if the weather's good, I do with the Tigers.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Boston College at Missouri. Chucky, I know you have a play here. I like the under at 54.5.
I don't hate the under there.
I know you have a different one. I just think both these teams suck in the sense that I think 3 times amongst the two of them they haven't scored, right? They're awful.
Right, what are you talking about? With
Boston College, Missouri?
Yeah.
No, Missouri, no one scored a touchdown against Missouri.
No one scored on Missouri yet. They haven't given up a point yet.
Sorry, that's what I mean. Not that they haven't scored, is that they haven't been scored on. I think Boston College also. Yeah. I think Boston
College shut out Duquesne last week.
Yeah, they also had a shutout. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, you're right. Their offense isn't bad. I think their defense is very good on both sides. I like the under here. I think it was at 54.5. I don't know where the line's at right now. Do you have it there in front of you guys?
I'll take a look, but I have a play on this game. This is
it was around like 16. I would lean Missouri here. I think Missouri is just a different class from Boston College. I don't have a play on it yet. I probably won't end up making a play because I do think Boston College is like an annoying team to have to cover a big number against. But I do think Missouri, both defensively, offensively, everything is a lot better than Boston College. I think in the same way that we overrated Georgia Tech for beating FSU and then coming back and losing to South Carolina a couple weeks later, I think we might be overrating this Boston College team a bit with what they did to FSU. I don't necessarily think they're one of the 25 best teams in the country, and Missouri is probably a top 10 team, and even though their defense look great, they just haven't played anyone, so it's hard to know what they really are yet.
How do you feel about that?
The only reason why, sorry to jump in a second, the only reason why I'm starting to like this Boston College team is you're hearing a lot of good things with their coaching. They got Bill O'Brien; he's an NFL coach, had some success. Mm-hmm. They're raving about him and his staff there. You're getting all these things you're hearing all these things from the players. Like, man, it's like another level of coaching that they're getting there, and you're starting to see it. Yeah, they beat that shitty FSU team. Still, it's still Boston College. They haven't been good in forever. And they still pulled off that win. And yeah, they played Duquesne, but they were up 42-0 at the half against Duquesne. So there are some good things happening there. I was
Did that
on
one
the
hurt to
Missouri
watch?
side. What?
Did the Duquesne that Duquesne blowout hurt to watch, Javi? Isn't
At
that
all.
a family?
There's some
Yeah, my
family,
brother-in-law played.
family
My
pain.
brother-in-law played
Some
for
family.
Duquesne. I actually asked him. I was like, "Hey, so does Duquesne cover 38 points?" I think
Never.
it was like 38 points or something.
No.
And he's like, "No, dude, absolutely not."
What are they? The Fighting Dukes? What are they? What is
But yeah, the Dukes.
the
They're the Dukes out there in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I like this game a lot. This is one of my favorite plays. I got it at plus 17 on Sunday. If you can hit that key number at 17, I encourage everyone to get after this one. I'm with Javi. I like Bill O'Brien. I like his offense. I like Castellanos. He's a mobile quarterback. You're seeing a lot of pre-snap motions. They're featuring the running back all over the field. And really, this offensive line stunk 2 years ago. They've all started for 2 straight years. They come out this year, and they just dominate at Florida State's defensive line. Big turnaround. And here's a few numbers. I really like it because the game script. I don't think they're going to win this game. Missouri's really good. That's a hard place to play. But I think they're going to stick around. Here's a few numbers on BC that's just nuts that I think lend well for covering. They're 12th in the country in turnovers lost. They're 4th in the country on third down defense. They're 22nd in the country on third down offense. They're 19th in the country in completion percentage. They're 5th in the country in fewest penalties. And they're 11th in the country in time of possession. Basically, they're not turning over the ball. They're not beating themselves. They don't get off the field they get off the field on third down, and they can convert. For Missouri to cover 17 points, they're going to have to play perfect. And Missouri's offense, all the talent in the world, but Luther Burden got banged up last game. He might not be a full go. And they've been a little choppy, actually, on offense. I just think Boston College could be in this game. Probably winning at halftime wouldn't surprise me. Catching 17, I'll take that all day.
Yeah, dude, I'm just going to look right now because I like this. Hold on one second.
I got it at 16. I got 16 and a half. I wasn't able to get 17, but I
Nobody
took it at
move.
16 and a half.
Nobody move. Nobody move. Okay, I got a little same game parlay here. Under on the points, 16 on the spread, plus 210. Go ahead. That's going to be my parlay of college football. Same game parlay. I want the under, total under, and give me the spread at 16. Take it at plus 210. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Boston College. Go for it. Next game, we got the Oregon State game. I like this game a lot. It's stupid that I like this game. I believe they used to call this game the Civil War or something like that.
Yeah.
We're talking about Oregon State, who gets shafted at the fact that they're in the same state as Oregon and they don't get any of the love. I mean, we're talking about a pretty decent game here. I like Oregon State at plus 16 and a half. They're playing at home. And they're really trying to prove something here. They're really trying to prove something against Oregon. Do I like Oregon this year? Absolutely. I think they have. We talked about Dylan Gabriel, one of the better quarterbacks in college football right now. But this is a great rivalry. And in my eyes, great rivalries mean great games. I like this game to be very tight. And 16.5 is a lot of points. So I have Oregon State here at 16.5 at minus 110. Stu, what do you think about this game?
Ray, Coach Oregon State, enters the Civil War here. So this is going to be interesting. I hate to lean to my Sunday pick, but I did take the Ducks. I got them at 14, and it moved up 2.5 points now. So I'm sitting pretty there. One matchup I'm really concerned about with Oregon is their rush defense is terrible right now. It's 121st in the country, and Oregon State's running the ball all over everyone. I think they ran for 299 yards on the ground last week. So that's what I'm going to be watching. That's my key point for this game. Oregon State's been really good in the defensive red zone as well. And we know Oregon can move the ball up and down the field. I'm concerned about that, but I got Oregon at a good number. I'm feeling pretty good. This Oregon team is unbelievably talented. Look what they did on special teams last week. They basically they looked like Hester back there, housing 2 kicks, basically. And this team can turn it on in an instant. I think they're going to be really hard to beat, and I don't want to be trying to cover spreads against an Oregon Duck team that really hasn't shown us their best stuff yet.
But we're talking about an Oregon team that against Idaho, they scored 24 points. It was like 24-14. If Idaho had Oregon State's quarterback now, Giovanni McCoy, don't you think Idaho could have put up those numbers and covered that and taken that, and Oregon probably would have lost that game?
I'd feel better if the box scored, and look, it didn't make sense. Oregon moved the ball up and down that field at 450 yards offense. And then there's a lot of talent and speed on this Oregon team.
Sure. Chucky, you have a play on this one?
I would lean like with the number at 16.5. I would lean to Oregon State. I just think that's a lot of points for an Oregon team that just hasn't proven to be able to cover spreads at all. I think that they haven't come close to covering a spread, not even within double digits of any spread yet. But I don't like either number enough. I think getting Oregon at 14 is a solid number there for Stupid Stu. If I had to play on this game, it would be the over. I just think
I laugh every time. Sorry to
Yeah,
drop.
I
I
don't-
laugh every time he calls stupid Stu. It's so good.
it's a term of endearment. I would lean the over in anything. I know Oregon State's going to try to slow it down and go slow, but I think this Oregon offense is starting to click and start put up points. And I think if Oregon State wants to stay in this game, they're going to have to keep up a bit. So and it's a pretty low number. I think it's in the low 50s
Yeah.
for the over under.
Yeah,
50 and a half.
Oregon State averaging 300 yards per game on the ground.
Yeah, 50.5.
So I don't know. I like the over on the spread here. Next game, the loser game, Notre Dame, Purdue. Man, I feel like I gotta give Notre Dame.
I thought it was going to be Florida, Texas A&M when you said loser game.
Yes. Yeah, I have it here not to even talk about Florida, Texas, and A&M because it's so bad. No, I have Notre Dame at Purdue. Man, I have to assume that Notre Dame covers this, right? At -9.5.
No,
Man, they
I would
got
lean
real
Purdue,
problems.
man.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You're gonna
Riley
lean
Leonard
Purdue?
is
Oh, I think it's at
Riley Leonard
-10
is
now.
banged up. When
He's
you
hurt.
saw in this
Yeah.
Notre Dame offense, when you saw this Notre Dame offense is against Texas A&M, they really relied on Riley Leonard's legs, not just running the ball, but just keeping plays alive. It was a game that I think they knew they had to like put out all the stops and really lean on him. And then last week they just tried to get away with not leaning on his running at all, and you saw that offense just stuck in mud. They were just not good at all. And he's banged up. Apparently, there's a chance he doesn't play. I don't know how good Purdue is. Second
We're
year,
talking
Ryan
about the
Walters.
Boilers here. I think they were last in the Big Ten, predicted to be last in the Big Ten. This is Purdue.
Ryan Walters is not a horrible coach. I always have a soft spot for Purdue. It's where my cousin went. So I've always just rooted for them. But yeah, this is not a game I plan to be watching. This does not seem like a fun one for the casual fan, unless you really hate Notre Dame and love to see bad offense.
I love watching Notre Dame lose, though. I do love watching Notre Dame lose.
I'm
I like
concerned
Marcus
if there's the
Freeman,
injury.
I like Marcus Freeman.
I think Riley Leonard's really hurt, and I think it's in his shoulder too, and his throwing shoulder. That is not a good injury for a running quarterback.
It's not his throwing shoulder. It's his non-throwing shoulder that's hurt.
Okay, but you lead with your shoulder.
Yeah,
when
you're not going to run. Yeah.
He basically can't. He's a shell of himself back there. It didn't look good last week. I don't know. I can't feel confident on a team when you can't push the ball down the field. He underthrew a couple receivers by 10 or 15 yards when he tried to hit them, and then he's late on his reads. So there's something going on with either the chemistry between Riley Leonard and his receivers, but the timing or the injury. I can't tell you. They haven't released it, but all three of those really have me. If you can't score in college football, you could have a top 5 defense. They're going to get worn down. We saw this with Michigan last week. Your defense is going to get quit. And then Notre Dame right now, they have great running backs. They better start hot in this game or else they might just lose. They might lose out.
It was a top 5 ranked team we were talking about preseason. Notre Dame.
Nah, they were in top 5 after beating A&M. They were in top 5 preseason.
To mention that, we had 6 ranked teams lose to non-ranked teams in the first 2 weeks of the season this year. That's the most since 2000. These rankings, full of
Fun
shit.
facts. Who's doing these rankings? Is it a bunch of assholes like us?
Yeah.
All right, next game I got Indiana. No, sorry, I don't care about the Indiana UCLA game. Never mind that. How do you guys feel about Texas UTSA? They have a 34.5 point spread. I still think they covered. I've been hyped up on Texas this whole year. I like Texas a lot. Do you guys think they cover a 34.5 point spread?
I
haven't given this game a thought, to be honest.
Real quick, before we get into Texas, I got to give a shout out to Chucky here because he called the Texas-Michigan super early in the week. He sent the group chat a text. He's, guys, I'm betting Texas minus anything. And by the time it would kick off, it was a 4-unit play for me. So a huge win for me. Saved my.
And it wasn't even a sweat. Wasn't even a sweat.
Wasn't even close.
Is that a shitting on Michigan or just hyping up Texas this year?
I think it was.
That was a Michigan's. No, that was honestly a pure Michigan offense. Just complete fading Michigan's offense. I just think
garbage.
They are not what they were last year, and that quarterback situation is disgustingly vile.
Yeah, listen, I think this Texas team is the real deal. UTSA, the Roadrunners. What are we talking about here? I see this
Ewers looks
as.
fantastic, by the way. That guy looks so
I
good.
do have a
These guys
I have a
got three
question for you,
quarterbacks.
Ted.
Texas has three quarterbacks that could throw the ball
Yeah, they're good.
perfectly. Whoever they're playing against, it's going to be hard to beat. Go ahead.
Maybe Archie Manning will come in and cover the spread in the second half. He'll come in to cover it.
Exactly. Just
I do.
with dump time.
I do have a question. Would you say that Texas is the second best team in the country right now over Ohio State?
I would say it's tough
I think it's close.
I think it's Texas, Georgia. It's tough. There's a lot
I
of
don't think so.
I think there's
I
a
don't
lot of
think it's
good teams
close.
this year, and we'll talk about that. I do want to talk about that when we talk about the college football playoff. I do want to talk about how many good teams there are this year. The SEC looks really good this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Do you know what team sucks at the SEC this year? Florida. Florida sucks. Florida sucks. Real
South Carolina, Kentucky.
Florida sucks real bad. So
We'll
you
see.
guys,
We'll see.
all right. Stupid Stu.
Stu, you said
need
not even
s-
close. What's your take on it?
I need
I think
stupid.
Ohio State's a lot better than Texas. I think Texas
You think
earned
so?
the third spot. Yeah, I really do.
Ohio State's very good
Texas,
this year.
Texas didn't even actually dominate that second half as much as people thought, and Michigan just
This game was
awful.
over.
It was over, dude. They
It
put it
was
like their
fine.
second
Yeah,
thing.
what's there to dom? What's there left to
We saw,
dominate?
we saw the
Axes?
same thing last year. They went into Alabama and everyone blew their hype up. And then they should have lost to Texas Tech and Kansas State last year coming in down the wire. They flipped both those games on missed field goals. This Texas team's really good. Sarkisian's been recruiting at a high level. Quinn Ewers is unbelievable. The most impressive part's the offensive line. It doesn't matter who's running the ball. They're moving people. This is a really good team, but their playmakers are not elite. Their secondary stinks. I said at the start of the year,
Isaiah
the secondary is overrated. Michigan can't challenge it because Davis Warren can't throw the ball past the line of scrimmage. We're not going to know until they play a team that throws the ball down the field. Ohio State, if you saw what they did last week, and this defense is killing people. It's ridiculous how talented this defense is. And then Jeremiah Smith on offense, guy runs Tyreek Hill speed. This team is incredible. Quinshawn Jenkins had it going. I think Ohio State could beat
I just
Georgia.
hate
They
everything Ohio
definitely beat
State. I
Texas.
never give him credit for anything. Call me biased, but I just
I
can't
would-
fucking stand him.
To be clear, I would still have Ohio State as a favorite on a neutral over Texas, but I just think it would be pretty close. Like I think Texas entered that tier where before I had a pretty big tier between Georgia, Ohio State, and then everyone else. So
Yeah.
I think Texas
Yeah.
belongs in that convo, and I don't think there's really anyone else that belongs in that convo yet that we've seen.
Yes. All right. So you guys are all about my 34.5 spread on Texas. I love that. Longhorns roll.
Archman, just so we can watch Arch Manning a little bit.
I want to see Archie, baby. Show me the Manning, bro. We're talking. Yeah, whatever. Not a big deal. Okay. So Georgia, Kentucky. How do you guys feel about this game? I like the under here at 45.5. I think this is going to be a defensive.
So my play, and this is one of the plays I made earlier in the week,
Mhm.
is I took Georgia minus 13 first half. The
I like
reason here
that.
is I think this Kentucky team has real problems. They just could not execute normal offensive plays against South Carolina's front. I don't know what that means against Georgia. I just think there's gonna really struggle to move the ball. Brock Vandergrift is a former Georgia player, and I don't think Georgia's all too worried after scouting him for years in the scout team. The reason why I took the first half is I think Kirby, and I think a lot of coaches have a lot of respect for Mark Stoops and what he's done at Kentucky. He's like a respected guy. And I think you see Kirby a lot of times just take the foot of the gas and not really run it up. I still like Georgia at minus 24, but I like the first half number more. I think they jump out to pretty commanding, control the game, and just sitting the ball in the second half.
I love that. I love that.
And I lean the other way, man, and I can't believe I'm saying it because I do agree with what Charlie's saying. This Kentucky team, this might be the Kentucky of old. They might win 3 games this year. But the one thing about Kentucky is they had 2 of their starting offensive linemen go out in that South Carolina game last week, and I think that really just threw them off. My issue here with Georgia, and Georgia's the best team in the country, don't get me wrong, but they're 1-8 against the spread under Kirby Smart heading into the week before the bye. They had a loss to Vanderbilt in 2016, a 3-touchdown loss to LSU in 2018. Last year to Vanderbilt, they took them in close. And then Kentucky in 2019 in a bad weather game covered big time versus them. And this is, like I was saying with the LSU game, this weather's supposed to come in through this area. I think Big Blue's going to show out for this game. It looks really bad weather-wise. And going into the bye week, Georgia has a big game on deck with Alabama after this bye week. That is what all these Georgia fans are talking about. Michael Williams is hurt. Warren Brinson, the defensive tackle, is limited. I don't think they play him. Jordan Hall, the backup TT, is hurt. Oscar Delp, their star tight end, is hurt. These guys are all 50-50. I have a hard time believing Kirby Smart's going to roll them out there for 60 snaps a game versus Kentucky. and try and cover a spread. He doesn't care about spreads. He's got Alabama in 2 weeks. I think you see a lot of these guys that are 50-50 get shut down entirely. Can I take Kentucky confidently? Because I'm a degenerate, I can. So I'm rolling Big Blue. I'm going to pick a bet on Big Blue. They stink.
Dude.
I'm betting against the best team in the country just because
that's
against
a
that bet right there.
Now I know where you get your nickname from.
They played, man. They played Georgia well.
Can we
1-8
combine
against
those
the spread
bets
heading into the bye week.
because of a 2016 game against Vanderbilt in Kirby Smart's first year? I don't care. That doesn't mean shit to me.
What about 2019 to
like-
Kentucky in the rain? Might be a little deja vu.
Yeah, whatever. That was 5 years ago. A better Kentucky team than this one. But I would love a little bet where you take Georgia minus 13 first half and Kentucky plus 24 for the game. Just a complete weather game and just middle that. Georgia gets off with a 17-point lead, and you bet the under, just so all 3 bets hit. That's what I want to happen this week. I might just do that just for this. I don't think I'll be allowed to same game parlay that, but I would love that. Just hit Georgia first half, Kentucky full game, and under 45.
Yeah,
It's one where I want to see the weather though, because if there's no bad weather,
Yeah. By the way, it's letting you,
Kentucky.
Chucky. It's letting you, and it's plus 900. Under
Dude, I
45,
think
Kentucky at
That
24,
would be a hilarious.
and Georgia 13.5.
Do it right now. Do it right now.
5 to
All
win. 5 to win 50.
I've got 2 more bets here, then I want to hear your guys' picks. Okay, I'm just gonna run through it. I have the Rice-Houston game at 44.5. I actually saw this on I just saw it by chance on ESPN, the SP Plus. I saw that this game was predicted to be 57 points. Right now, I saw it at 44.5 at minus 110. I also have the over at 39.5 at BYU at Wyoming. I saw this again on ESPN SP Plus at 47 total points. Those are my 2 final looks. I don't know if you guys really saw those games, BYU at Wyoming and Rice Houston, but I saw the ESPN SP Plus. I saw that they had those total scores, and I saw the big difference that we had over here on our sports book, and I like when I see that.
I like it. I don't have much thoughts on that. The only game that you didn't touch that I have a play on, it's moved a lot since I took it on Sunday, but it was UCF. I took plus.
That line completely flipped on us, huh?
Yeah, now it's UCF minus 2.5 on the road to TCU. I think this UCF team is pretty good. I think last year they struggled a bit. You had a lot. You saw that with TCU when they moved to the Big 12. Yeah. You see a lot of teams. The only team in the last 20 years that hasn't struggled and they really took a big step up in conference was Utah when they moved to the Pac-12. So I think UCF is a lot firmer footing. I think this program is like in a good spot with Gus Malzahn, and I think that they'll go on the road and beat TCU.
Yeah, it's a tricky game, but you just said it. UCF went 1-4 last year in Big 12 road games. The only team they beat was Cincinnati in a 1-9 stretch.
Which was another newcomer. Yeah, no, but I think that's first year is really tough to adjust for everyone in the program, players, coaches, everything. It's just a big step up.
Bigger,
I think
faster.
they're in a much better position. Yeah, I think they're in a much better position to compete and produce against Big 12 this year.
Stupid Stu, any picks that we missed?
I got UCF on Sunday at +2, but that's not going to help anyone. It's flipped to -2 now. They had horrible injury luck last year, and this team's really good. They have one of the best running backs in the country with Bell. KJ Jefferson's killing it. Offensive line's playing really well. Nigel Kelly from the U is doing really well pass rushing over there. Wasn't happy when he transferred out. That's going to be a fun game to watch with. I also have Indiana -2.5, 77 points last week, most in program record for Indiana. They're playing against UCLA. I don't like Deshaun Foster at UCLA, that coach. I'm just trying to short sell UCLA. It's a weird spot because UCLA is coming off that bye, but I like this Kirk Cinetti team. I'm riding this Curtis O'Rourke like we talked about week 1, and Indiana looks great, man. They stunk, and everyone still thinks they stink from last year. Their numbers are great. The quarterback plays great. They have the better quarterback, better coach. Give me the Hoosiers. And I did take USF -11 against Southern Miss. I do think USF. Only thing I want to talk about here is I can't believe Alex Golesh. He's down 8, 21-13 with 5 minutes left in the Alabama red zone. He kicks a field goal.
That was crazy.
Is that not the stupidest play ever?
What's going on here?
That was insane. That was insane.
In true Stupid Stu fashion, I'm doubling down on this guy. I think he's going to have a big rally. I'm taking them. And the only other game we got to talk about, I have nothing on it, but Charlotte, you got to talk to us about this A&M Florida game, man.
There's only one thing that matters in this game. It's DJ Lagway. I think that's what it comes down to. Let's see what Billy Napier does. I think he's not even going to choose between him and Graham Mertz, or he's somehow going to play both and just ruin both. I hope he starts Lagway and just trusts him. I just think Billy Napier's offensive design is awful, and our only chance for a big play is DJ Lagway. He made some throws. I know Samford. Most quarterbacks, the throws he was making couldn't do it against air. Lagway's the truth. He might be on another team next year, but while he's a Gator, I want to see him play. So I'm hoping Lagway plays. I'm hoping he makes some big plays, and I hope we beat Texas A&M. That's all I'm worried about in this game.
Does Napier make it through the season, do you think?
I think he really
Yes.
misread the room. Look, our last 2 games against D1 opponents are losses at home to Florida State and Miami. So if you ask me, I've already fired Napier. That doesn't mean I'm rooting against the team. There's no such thing as tanking. I can show you my list right now.
He has a running list, Tom. He has a running list.
Man, I've seen this list.
He has a running list.
It's great.
A wildly
The
long
problem is there's
list.
nobody better available right now. You don't have anybody available right now that's better.
Brother, everyone on this podcast available is better right now. What do you mean there's no one better
Listen,
available?
all right.
What
We're
are you
done.
talking about?
We're done with. Or do you have any picks that we've missed out? Wait. It feels like every time Stu brings up Florida, he's just fucking trolling Carlos at this point.
100%. Come on.
I got to talk about Lagway. I got to talk
doesn't-
about Lagway.
He doesn't care. He just wanted to say Florida and Texas A&M just because he knows that's a shitty game.
I think
I
A&M
do
is
think-
really bad. And
I
really
do think
bad.
it's crazy that like he's debating on which one to start. It's fucking wild to me. Didn't Lagway set the record or something in the last game?
Yeah, he threw more passing yards than anyone else in the country last week. He threw like the 4th, like I think it was the 3rd most ever in UF history in his first ever start.
That's what it was.
He threw deep balls at like Graham Mertz last year, all of last year, and the Miami game. He threw 4 passes of 40 yards or more in those 13 games. DJ Lagway matched that in 1 game. And again, I know it's Samford, and I know he's going to make mistakes. I'm not sitting here. And coming into the year, I said you cannot rely on a true freshman to come in and play. Like you can't go in with that plan. But at this point, he's proven capable. We see Dylan Raiola at Nebraska, what he's doing. And I just think straight up, he's the better option. Whether you're trying to save your job, whether you're trying to win this weekend, whether you're trying to plan for the future, I think any way you slice it, he's the right guy to pick to start, in my opinion. So it's a big debate in the fandom, though. That's like pretty much all Gator fans are talking about right now.
At Gator Nation.
And Gator Nation.
I was worried they'd start him against the Canes. I was the happiest guy in the world. They rolled out Mertz. Guy stinks. That was
Nothing
awesome.
like bad coaching to set off a Canes win.
The only play I think we missed, but I wouldn't have bet the spread, just the over in that. I think it's at 50. I think it was at 54.5. I think it's at 55.5.
50. It's moved up to 55.5. Pretty good offense.
Yeah, offense is the truth. I think that we're going to come out and we'll take care of business, but I do think Ball State has a good offense, so I could see them. I can see Miami putting 40 plus easy. Maybe Ball State gets a 10, 14 points scored. I think you should cover I think we should easily cover the over here.
I like that.
The weather's not bad down here. It doesn't look too good on the forecast.
Yeah,
but I mean,
weather permitting.
Yeah, lost their DC, only returning 1 starter on defense. And then their offense, they return 8 guys. Their offense is top 45 scoring offense right now. They only have 1 data point. But I agree. Most people are saying that game's going to go over. And I think we're going to see some points in that game too.
Yeah,
I think it may go up. It may go up from 55. So I'd get it. If you're going to bet it now, because I think it may get up to 56, 57.
Miami's a top 10 scoring offense. Ball State's in the top 40. It's a middle number. It's not even a high over-under.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I think it's going to go up before kickoff. I think it'll go up more. It's already going up, but I think 55 is still a pretty cupcake number for these two offenses.
And I got nothing on the Apple Cup or the Backyard Brawl with West Virginia Pitt or Washington State Washington. There's also Colorado State. I don't know if anyone has any on those, but three rivalry games right there this week. So that's
what's the spread on that game right now?
On which one?
For which one?
Colorado State. That's always a fun game.
7 for the Buffaloes. Colorado's favored
Colorado
by 7.
State's not good. Colorado State has not looked good this year. They're super disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I want to talk a little. I want to talk a little bit about the college playoff preview we got going on here. Right now, as it stands, we've got a lot of SEC teams that are a lot better than other teams that we have here. Is it possible that we have 4 SEC teams in college football playoffs?
Well, this is the first time in AP poll history that we have 6 teams of the top 7 ranked from the same conference. SEC is 6 of the top 7. It's the first time in the AP poll history. Right now, the answer is yes. No way. They got to play each other. There's no way they're going to get,
They don't have to play each other. There's 16 teams in the conference. Like, not everyone's playing with each other at all. Look, it's impossible to know how to handicap how it's going to look at the end of the year. I think people keep making like these strong assumptions about exactly how the college football playoffs are going to look at the end of the year. We just have to let it. We just have no precedence. We have no idea. I would expect pretty much all at-large bids to come from the SEC and Big Ten, except for one or two at most.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I expect, and I expect like the Big Ten and the SEC to share the rest of with the rest of those at-large bids. With SEC this year having probably a better top of the conference than the Big Ten, but the thing we have to wait for is we're going to get in a situation where there's probably one obvious Big 12 team and one obvious ACC team that's going to make the college football playoff no matter what. If they get
Right.
upset in that conference title game, that's going to be a stolen bid right there. A lot of what the playoff's going to look like is so dependent on that context that it's almost worthless in week 2 to be saying like this conference deserves this many bids, this conference deserves that. There's just so much left to play out.
Yeah, I don't see a world where the Big 12 and the ACC don't get at least 3 teams in total combined. The 2 conference winners and then one other bid to them.
Well, here's my thing. The thing with the college football playoff is this is all we have, right? This is what people are going to play to get into. It's not so much about winning your conference. It's not so much about you going undefeated as much. It's, hey, am I good enough to be one of the top 12 teams in the nation? Or am I good enough to be a top team in my conference? These non-conference games don't mean as much, which is great. I like that. I think that's fun. I think it's good for college football. I do see a world where we have 4 SEC teams, 3 ACC teams, 3 Big 12, Big 10 teams, and then you have that G5 spot, and then you have that Notre Dame that gets left out if they don't win out completely. It's super exciting to see. I know we don't know exactly how the committee's going to do the bids. The committee doesn't historically have great choices, but it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun study to look at. And I'm super excited for college football this year. I think we did a great deep dive for anybody making bets on this. Unless I missed something. Did I miss anything?
I just piggybacking off of what Charlie was saying. You just have to let this play out with the conference talk. I just think there's not enough data yet to prove anything. It's clear that 6 of the 7 top teams with the SEC, that's by far the best conference. But the ACC right now is 5-5 versus other power conferences. That's no worse than any other power conference right now. So a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are upset on the ACC right now because the teams they picked, Virginia Tech, NC State, Florida State, all look bad. But at the same time, a couple other high risers and Miami, Louisville just counteracted that. So they're down on that. If you actually put the Pac-12 back together with the old teams, they would be 3-0 against the SEC, 21-2 overall. They'd have the best record of anyone. But it's clear the SEC is the best. It's just too early for the conference games to see where it's going to actually land. I think that's just going to have to happen over time.
Yeah, I like it. Guys, I think we're good with college football. I do want to take this time here to make a sacrifice. Last year, before we started talking about professional football, last week we talked about how I was going to pull off a kind of a helmet from my bag here. And unfortunately, we pulled the Tennessee Titans. And I thought, hey, this could be it. This could be the Titans' reason to win a game. I left the first half of that game up 17-0. And still, these fucking losers found a way to lose this game. And I'm so frustrated. But I am a man of honor, and I believe in sacrificing a shotgun to the Tennessee Titans because they ruined my God's plan. And sometimes it is okay to the football gods to give them an offering. And in this case, it's an offering of a shotgun. So cheers, boys.
This is just an offering so we don't pull the Titans again out of the fucking bag. That was an absolutely brutal beat.
They didn't give up an offensive TD, and they lost. How's that possible in the NFL?
The Titans will never get picked again. They'll never get picked again.
Can you smash that thing?
Yes, I can.
Thank God I don't know
the comments from their coach was the best in the press conference. We should have just punted on 1st and 10 in the second half every drive, and we would have won the game.
I hate the Tennessee Titans. I've never hated a team more in my life. I've never cared so little about a team and hated a team so much in my life.
Man, that last interception or the one that Levis threw,
Oh,
no look,
God.
underhand. Tyler Van Dyke was sitting there going, "That's terrible."
Did you see
that
him
was the
drop to
worst
his knees and just
Tyler
did you see him
Van
just
Dyke
drop
is
to his
in-
knees
Yeah.
like this? Oh my God.
Jesus,
I mean,
take
Rex
me
see a lot of
Grossman was
surrender
speechless
Cobra.
on this one, dude. This is horrible.
Nah, Rex. You're talking about Heisman finalist Rex Grossman. Come on now. Come
No,
on.
I'm talking about
Super Bowl
NFL
finalist,
record
Super
worst
Bowl
passer
finalist.
rating in a victory with at least 15 passing
Super
attempts.
Bowl finalist. Peter Gray,
1.3
all-time
quarterback
legend.
passer rating in a victory.
It's
So
so
he knows how to
stupid.
get the job done.
It's so
So he
stupid,
won?
but I love the shitting on Rex
So he
Grossman.
won?
I love it.
What are you talking about, bro?
It's out of left field, but I'll take it. It's great.
All-time worst Super Bowl
Crazy.
quarterback rating.
All right, I'm shaking up. You know the deal. Completely random. We're pulling a team out of this. Listen, I sacrificed one. This time it's gonna get a dub. Are you guys ready? Who am I pulling out?
I already got my bet sheet open. I got the book open, so let's see who we're going with.
You picked the Titans again, you piece of shit.
The Panthers.
Oh, we're
my
fucked. Oh,
Shit.
we're fucked.
Are you sure?
Plus-
Are you sure we're not supposed to fade this?
Hold on.
Are you sure we're not supposed to fade it?
Hold on.
What the hell?
Did I just pull the Titans and the Panthers? If this was a survivor pool, people would be like, "Kev,
You want to know?
Point,
You want to know the worst part? I'm pretty sure the line in that game was plus 9.5,
oh gosh.
It's 6. It's 6 is what I'm
and
saying.
now I moved to 6.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, dude. Well,
All right.
Do we
Plus
fi-
225. I'm placing it now.
yeah, let's do it, man. I'm gonna go
We have
ahead
to
and
bet
put
money
it in.
line, or we have to bet.
Money line.
Money
Just
line, money
straight
line.
money
Oh,
line.
Money line.
God.
Money line.
So Carolina versus the Chargers at home.
Win your money Saturday, lose it all.
Let's do one unit. I'm not even gonna tell you guys to do the 3 units. I'm just gonna
1 unit for me. That's Carolina. No way.
Say though, at least it's the Chargers, who I do think is probably one of the few teams that they could beat. The Chargers, all they can do is run the ball right now. That's all they're gonna do.
Yeah.
I don't have that much faith in the Panthers being able to stop the run.
They're home. They're home.
They're-
Maybe that helps.
Listen, we're
Yeah,
shooting.
they are.
We're shooting shit right now. Look, guys, there's no chance that we're gonna win this one. But I'm super.
They are home. They're in a bounce back spot. Look, I'm trying to talk us into this, okay?
Oh God, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry I committed us to this. But here we are. Hey, you know what this means, right? Is that the second half of the season we're gonna be unstoppable. That's what's gonna happen.
What
Or
sucks
we
is
just
that I had
start
a
getting all the good teams.
All right, so let's talk week 1
Cool.
reactions. Some
It was a
overreactions,
strange week 1, in my opinion.
some underreactions. So here's my thing. I was watching a lot of football this weekend. I watched a lot of Red Zone, a lot of professional games on Sunday and Monday, and what I saw was a lot of rusty quarterbacks. A lot of quarterbacks that looked like they haven't played in 3-4 months, and they looked bad. Looked like the timing was off with the receivers. Their offensive line was getting rocked. They couldn't move the ball. I think there was a lot of growing pains for some teams. I don't know if it's a trend, and I
got a different opinion on that.
have to double check.
I mean,
I think
Two
it is.
of the
It
leading
is first
throwers.
of all, it is a trend. If you look back into, I think first of all, I think there was only like 32 passing touchdowns this year, which is I think it's
For
3 or
week
4
one.
less from week 1. And I think it's like 3 or 4 less from last year. And if you go back to 2001, where I think there was like 61 passing touchdowns in week 1. So you've definitely seen like the trend go down. I'm not sure. Like some people are saying it's like a difference in offensive schemes. Defense has gotten better. I personally think that just the NFL product has just gotten shittier. You've seen a lot of, if you look at all the quarterback play in general has gotten worse in the NFL. You have a lot of shitty quarterbacks right now.
They
playing
run
in the NFL.
a lot. Yeah.
Just
That's true.
regardless of running or not, there's very good running quarterbacks. They're just shitty quarterback play. You're also seeing a changing of the guard from that golden. We also went through a golden era of QBs for a while there during the Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, been a lot of good quarterbacks, and now you're like you don't have that huge crop of. You used to have 3 or 4 elite guys, and then you had a pretty nice crop of pretty good upper level quarterbacks. They weren't elite, but Shit, even Tony Romo was pretty good. You know what I mean?
Tyler Thigray, Lucas. How many Dolphins
Who the-
quarterbacks do we
Jorge
have?
Lucas.
Who the fuck
A
are you
lot.
talking about right now?
All
So
these Dolphins
you have
quarterbacks.
seen a
Don't
trend
forget
in that.
Cleo Lemon.
But
Cleo
I
Lemon.
think overall, I watched just about every game this past Sunday, and it's just I remember bitching about this last year too. I just think the NFL product has just gotten a lot shittier and sloppier. I'm still degenerate. I play way too much fantasy football. I bet on everything. I watch it all. I don't help the cause, but I definitely think it's a trend. It's not rust. Is my point.
Listen, I
It's
think
just
the
dog
average
shit quarterbacks.
yardage was 180 yards. I think there was only one quarterback that threw for over 300, and that was our hometown hero, Tua.
Who sucked, by the way.
Yeah,
Had
it
an
looked
awful
awful.
first half.
It was
Had
a
an
fake.
awful
It was a
first half.
fake 300 yards. We'll get
that
into
first
that.
half.
So to me, when I'm saying like he looked very, there's a lot of quarterbacks that looked rusty. He looked very rusty in the sense his timing was off with his receivers. He didn't look like he was moving very much. That offense was stuffed in the run game, so it was dependent on Tua. And we saw talk about somebody who couldn't close that team. I for sure thought we were going to lose that game.
We deserved to lose it.
We deserved to lose it.
ETN fumbled into the end zone. We won, which is huge. Get a win on the board, but that did not leave a good taste in my mouth. So
it didn't
I'm
feel like
really
a very
hoping-
deserving
No.
win.
Listen,
I'm with
Tomorrow's
Carlos
a
on
big
this.
one.
A win's a win, so I'll take
Thursdays.
it. But it
Yeah.
didn't look.
No, no apologies. No apologies.
Yeah.
I didn't love it.
The game felt like that Sanders kick. Like that's how he played. That field goal he missed. I mean, it was just ugly.
Sanders, I hate him and love him all
I don't know
at the
how
same
he
time.
won.
We can't stand him, dude. I don't trust him. He never misses a game winner. But I just don't trust him.
I mean, he had a game last year? Did he have a game last year with seven field goals? How many field goals was that? It was a shitload. It was like 6 or 7 field goals last year. But then
He looked like he was also
stupidest
He
field
looked
goal.
like a college game day kick, like one of those kicks that just on game day where they pull a kid out of the crowd. It looked terrible.
It looked terrible, dude.
It was really bad.
He just looked like Pat McAfee was about to give him $50,000 and just scuffed it to the left, dude. It was awful, man. And the worst part, I didn't even tell you how. I didn't tell you what happened to me. So I had I had the game recorded. I was recording it. I didn't know. I was recording it. I go to the bathroom. I come back. I didn't realize that my kid somehow went back to the field goal. And I saw it. I was like, there's no way he missed the same field goal twice, dude. I was so angry for 15 minutes. I wanted to kill somebody. And I was like, wait a minute. This kid's going exactly how the other one did. And I had to fast forward. I was like, oh, we're so stupid. And then I saw that we were tied 17. I swear to God, for 10 minutes, I was rewatching the same game all over again. I was like, wow, this is playing out exactly like I thought.
It didn't really, but I agree with you guys. I didn't instill any confidence in me at all. And yeah, I don't want to put it all on him, but Tua just.
You're a Tua hater, though. You are a Tua hater.
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a Tua hater. I'm just not a Tua believer.
That means you're a Tua hater.
Are you 2 in? Are you 2 in or 2 out? I'm 2 in.
I'm a Tua apologist. I like Tua. I think that he's got all the skills. Until I'm proven otherwise, the guy wins. He's
2 on, baby.
Except for when he doesn't have the best receiving core in college football, and then the fastest offense in NFL history, which we saw those few years. Without that, he wasn't very good.
But he does have
those first couple years of his career. So now he has it. So that's why for me, like he's just like a game manager. And then now I'm even more nervous because we paid him all this money. I'm not sure, man, but I just know this team is going to live or die by Tua. I think that's just how it's going to go. And there's really no more excuses now. You got the offense, you got the money, you got a couple years in this in the McDaniel scheme now. So sure, I'll give you 1 week for rust. Hey, we're filming this Wednesday, so tomorrow night you got a huge game at home, Thursday Night Football against the Bills, against Josh Allen. Let's see. It's time to put up or shut up.
This is a big-time game, dude. This is a big-time game. You guys are going to be listening to this tonight, but this is a big-time game. Before we get into week 2, have any big surprises, any big stories that you saw from last week?
Big stories? Yeah, I think one, the Cincinnati losing to New England. I think we saw some of these bad teams not be as bad as we were expecting. I think the Bears coming out and and winning. I think the Cincinnati losing that game and looking that it's not just that, but looking that bad.
Yeah.
I think that was a little shocking to some people. But overall, not that surprising. Only 3 underdogs lost. I think it was the favorites were 13-3
Mm-hmm.
straight up, and I think they were like 9-7 against the spread. So not very huge. And the dogs that won were like Dallas and I forgot the other two. That's slipping my
So
mind right
speaking
now.
of Dallas, Cleveland looked
Yeah,
awful.
it was
Dude.
Dallas, New England, and I forgot the third one.
Cleveland looked awful.
I
Deshaun
thought so.
Watson looked like the worst quarterback in the NFL.
But see, that's what I'm going back to, how it's just dog shit quarterbacks, because like you can't blame that on the offensive line or anything, because we saw what they did with Joe Flacco last year. The guy didn't throw for under 300 yards once. Just when he took over. He was just torching. And it's Joe fucking Flacco. It's like he's like 50 years old. So what are we talking about here? You know, they're just but the Browns are in purgatory. That's just, we're not even getting to that. They gave him $230 million guaranteed.
They should be in hell.
Yeah, you know, their only saving grace would be like this new lawsuit or whatever. If the NFL suspends him for it, then I think they have a contract
Again,
out.
a new lawsuit. How many lawsuits does this guy have?
Dude, they sold their soul for not even a good quarterback. It's incredible.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
when they did though, he was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. When they
But
sold him.
he also hadn't played in over a year and stuff.
That is true. That is true.
You know, like it was like
you know who I was surprised with was with, I shouldn't say surprised. I saw this coming. Aaron Rodgers did not look like himself. He looked like very slow, couldn't move the ball, had some bad passes out there. I think when the game initially started, he came in hot, and then you could tell really quick that the Jets team is not as good as predicted. Their defense
I wouldn't say it was all on Rodgers there. You know, I still think
defense
Rodgers
was
is pretty
bad.
good.
Yeah.
But I also got to give a lot of credit to San Fran. They look absolutely nasty.
They're my
this year.
favorites this year. You were shitting on me, and I said I liked them a lot this year.
They look so good, so deep. But good Lord, that team looks like they look like 2 and 3 players in every position deep. It's wild.
They look like Super Bowl contenders this year.
Super Bowl favorites right now, if you ask me. And the Jets they're the fucking Jets, man. They looked a little better because they do have Aaron Rodgers. Like we saw that first drive. And then you saw San Fran make a couple adjustments. They're like, we're just gonna shut down Garrett Wilson the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. And they just stuffed the run the whole game. That's it.
Breece Hall couldn't do anything.
It's Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. That's it. They couldn't stop the run. The Jets couldn't stop the run. It's good for us. I don't think we're gonna have to worry too much about the Jets, thank God. But I wouldn't put it completely on Rodgers. Yeah, he did look a little tentative though. He looked he looked like he didn't want to trust that Achilles heel yet. So we'll see. I'm still on a hold on that.
How do you feel about Herbert? I think I feel like Herbert just needs to find a new team, dude.
Don't get me started, man. Herbert should be wearing this should be a Herbert jersey, not a Tua jersey, if you ask me.
I forgot how much you hate Tua and how much.
Don't get me fucking started.
I forgot. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna hang up my headphones. You're absolutely right. No, but truthfully, I think Herbert needs to find a new team. I feel like that team is just not him. Like, bro,
it's a bad fit now.
It's a bad fit. It's a bad fit. You could tell that he's making the passes he needs to make. He
doesn't have anyone to throw to. His number one receiver is Josh Palmer. Like,
they
what
just
are we doing
can't get their shit together. Give this guy somebody to throw the ball to.
And Harbaugh's just he's gonna run the piss out of the ball.
That's a drop pass.
He did it with San Fran, with Michigan. He's gonna do it with the Chargers, and they have this elite quarterback that he's gonna rot away there. That's unfortunate.
Dude, he's losing. He lost that game in the end zone because of a drop pass. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I think what they should do is trade him to the Vikings for some first round picks and JJ McCarthy.
Not a bad move.
Yeah,
not a bad move.
That would be fun.
All right, let's go into week 2. Let's start with our boys. Let's start with our boys at home. Let's talk with Buffalo, Miami, Thursday night game. This is a tough game. Buffalo looks very good this year. Josh Allen threw 4 touchdowns, I think, last week, something like that. Out of all the quarterbacks, when I'm saying rusty, did not look rusty. Josh Allen looks like he's having the best time in his life out there. He looks like fucking Cam Ward. He looks like he's 18, just chucking the ball. Used to get him in trouble. Our Miami secondary did not look good. Did not look good at all. You could tell that this Miami defense is taking a hit. How do we feel about this game tomorrow or tonight, I should say?
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I don't like taking the points on either side. I think this is more of a pickup kind of game, money line, and I'm taking the under for sure. I think this is going to be
Is it at 48.5? I saw it was at 40.5 earlier. I think it's
at 49 right now, so that's an easy under. I think it was at if you can get to 50, which it may, then I definitely hammer it. But I think it's going to be an ugly game. Thursday nights games are historically ugly. They're never quick turnaround, and it's a division game. These teams play each other tough. They're never really shootouts.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Miami because I'm a homer. I'm not going to bet against them. Like, you're out of your mind. But I'm not confident about it.
Stu, what do your sheets say? Where's the smart money line right now?
I'll take a look, but at this game, all I know is these Thursday games in Miami, you get a lot of that local traffic. Tyreek's just got to find his way in that stadium. That's a big deal because this is a division game. But the one thing I do like on our end is I do like our front four, how it's built to get after Josh Allen, though. I do Phillips. I like Sealer. I've seen what Sealer can do when he gets his hands on Josh Allen. This is a tough guy to bring down. So I do like our front four. Hopefully they can get some pressure on Josh Allen and hope he turns the ball over or something. But this is a big game for both teams.
I think this is definitely a statement game here. It always is. This is a division game here, and I think these are one of the two better teams in the conference this year.
Looks like a little sharp money on Miami.
Smart money's on Miami, baby.
A lot of tickets on the Bills and not a lot of money. A lot of Bills Mafia out there doing their $10 loser bets.
Yeah.
We're over here betting those Charlie Pigskin numbers.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
And by the way, our secondary didn't look that bad. We did shut Trevor Lawrence down. You know, he threw for like less than 200 yards. So it wasn't like we looked horrible.
I don't know if we were ready for Brian Thomas. Man, that Jacksonville rookie.
He looks
He's
good.
Unbelievable,
he looks
man.
Very
He's unbelievable.
Good.
We talked about him.
Very good.
He's going to be good. If you got him in fantasy, he's going to be a fantasy steal if you got him in fantasy.
Yeah, a lot of people got him really late in the draft or very cheap on an auction draft.
Yeah, I just looked it up. He threw for 162 yards. So I don't think our secondary wasn't too bad. Again, I just think it's a divisional game. I think it's going to be one of those ugly, 21-17 kind of game. I don't even think any team will score 3 touchdowns. Could be like a 17-16 kind of game.
Yeah, I like that. I do have a prop bet on this one. Let me see how you like it, Javo. I got Jalen Waddle at 62.5 at -115 over receiving yards. Jalen Waddle did incredible last game. I think he's Tua's new favorite target now that Tyreek Hill. Maybe not.
I don't think his favorite target, but
Tyreek Hill's double covered or out there in the nether regions.
The thing with this Dolphins team is that we're very thin at receiver. So it's like a condensed passing attack here. You know who the ball is going to go to. Prop I like better there is they haven't given it to us yet, but it's not up yet. At least on my book, it's not up yet. But A-Chain over on passing yards. If it's anything under 50 yards, just hammer it. There, I know that if he plays, which all reports are showing that he is going to play.
He's banged up.
He's banged up, but I still think he's going to play. Yeah, exactly. They were lining him up out wide. They've already shown that they're not afraid to do that, and we need other pass catchers besides Tyreek and Waddle right now. We got Barrios playing the 3-hole. He's not very confident. I'm not very confident in him as a go-to pass catcher. And our tight ends didn't look. Johnny and Smythe didn't look very good last time. Smythe had a horrible overall game. He had a bad game. He had some bad penalties. He had multiple drops. So it's just a bad week 1 game for him. So I don't think that's going to be the trend for him because he's been consistently decent as like a football player. He's not any kind of world beater. And Johnny he lost a bunch of weight, so he's supposed to be looking good. But those are our pass catchers. We don't have much else. So I don't hate taking the Waddle receiving yards, but if there's a prop that I definitely love, it's going to be that A-Chain over receiving in this game.
Once it comes out. Speaking of Jonnu Smith a little bit, that guy just looks like a fucking freak of nature, dude. That guy looks like a full-blown athlete. Could do
former Golden Panther standout.
Former FIU Golden Panther, dude. Looks like a total athlete. Could play the fullback position, could play halfback, could play tight end. I like him a lot. Any next game I have here, Chargers, Carolina. Obviously, we talked about how Carolina is going to dominate the Chargers. I actually had here the under at 39. I like that bet a lot. I like the Chargers at -6 as well. But we can't talk about that now because
I had a special parlay too involving
we're
the
through
Chargers.
it. What did you have?
I was inspired by yesterday's debate, not to get political, but I wanted to do a little eat the cats parlay and just bet against all
Oh,
the cat
cat
teams
eater,
in the
dude. I
NFL.
love it, dude. Talk to tell
A
me, tell
little,
me, what is it? What is it?
a
What is
little.
it?
It's simple, bro. We just parlay the Chargers going against the Panthers. We got
Okay.
the Bengals going against the Chiefs, so we add the Chiefs in there. And then lastly, there's one more. Let me
The
find it.
Jaguars.
Browns over Jags.
Yeah, who are the Jack? And then you just add the Browns, and you just fade all the cat teams, bro. We're eating the cats this weekend.
The only
Let's eat
problem
the
there
cats parlay.
is that I have to bet. I have to bet the Browns, which makes me very nervous. I don't
That's
like
Fucking
it.
love that. Dude, I'm putting that in right now. I'm gonna take
Yeah,
a
I
5
already bet
second
it.
break. I'm coming in here. Eat the
Eat the cats parlay.
cat ears, baby. Chargers. The
They're eating cats.
Browns.
They're eating cats.
What was it? Chargers, Browns, and who else?
Chargers, Browns, and Chiefs.
Chiefs, baby. Money
Can you
line.
imagine it's the Chiefs? It's the Chiefs that screw us there.
No, please don't say that. Don't say that. Next, all right. Next bet I have here, I have Tampa Bay, Detroit. I have the under at 51. I just don't think that these teams, big scorers here. I see this game 22-24 on the side of Detroit. I am a big Dan Campbell fan. I like Dan Campbell a lot. I like how they took the dub last week. I think Detroit is a hard-fighting team, but I don't see these scoring too high. I have them at under 51 half. What do you like?
I'm actually the opposite. I'm hammering this over right now.
Oh my gosh,
Like-
dude, you're pissing me off, dude.
It's like one of my favorite overs right now, to be honest with you.
Talk to me. What do you think?
I do like the Lions. I actually think this is a game that you can even tease it if you want. You can do a little 6-point teaser on it and just the line moved to 7.5 now. I think it was at 6.5 when it opened. But you can if you want to, you can tease it down. I do think it's gonna be a closer game. I think the Bucks are a better team than we think they are.
Okay.
I think this past week was a little. Don't get over. I don't want to overhype them because they just pounded Washington. I think Washington's garbage, but Baker looked pretty good. He looked pretty good, and I think this Bucks team they were a playoff team. This is a playoff rematch. The Bucks are going to want to go in there and get a little redemption. I still think I like the Lions side, but I do a lot of points in this game. It's in a dome.
Okay.
And yeah, I think it's at 51 right now. I still like that. If it creeps up, I don't know if I'll take it, but for now, I'll take it. Absolutely.
Man, I don't know why I feel like the complete opposite on this one. I just feel like Detroit is a hard-hitting defense.
By the way, it had opened at 48.5, so it's already gone up.
Yeah, that's why I liked it at the under.
Yeah, but still, even at 51, I still like it.
All right. Yeah, I don't think these offenses are anything that. Don't get me wrong. I do. I'm in Ross St. Brown. I think he's a beast wide receiver. I think it was a shame that he didn't have a great game last week. But here
I think the Lions are a great offense. I think that they're actually probably one of the best offenses in the league, to be honest with you.
right after the Dolphins.
Yeah.
For sure. Green Bay versus Colts. Man, I'm going to tell you something. I am so high on Anthony Richardson this year. I want the overs on everything. Give me the overs on touchdowns. Give me the overs on receiving. Give me the overs.
Did he
on
complete
rushing
9
touchdowns.
passes?
I don't give a shit.
He completed 9
Those
passes.
9, holy crap.
9 passes,
But those
how
9
many
were
how many rushing
Those
yards?
9. Those 9.
as a fantasy player, he's incredible. I think he had 9 pass completions and he finished like
30 something
QB,
points.
like
QB3.
QB2, QB3. It was something crazy like that.
Dude, I feel like he's talk about a fun player to watch, man. He's exciting. He's super exciting. Do you guys hear that?
What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
You heard like farming? Who's farming? Whatever. That was weird. Yeah, I like Anthony Richards a lot in every over. I don't even know what they are right now because for some reason my sportsbook doesn't have them. But I will give me the over on at least an anytime touchdown from Anthony Richards. He's a beast, dude.
Yeah. I also, this is a Colts -3 right now. I think I hammer that right now. I think the Packers are in big trouble with Jordan Love out. His name is slipping my mind, but their backup quarterback is awful. He's so bad. He probably shouldn't even be in the NFL. Like by all metrics, it's bad. If you have anybody in fantasy from the Packers as receivers, good luck. Josh Jacobs will be fine with volume, but from a betting standpoint, right now you can get -3 at 105. Take it all day.
Take it all day. I believe the backup there is Malik Willis.
Yep.
This was
Yeah.
just go ahead and hammer the Colts on that one.
I like the Colts -3 too. That was one of my favorite picks on the board this week.
Yeah, absolutely great pick.
sure.
Next bet I have here, Jets Tennessee. I like Brees Hall under 75.5 total rushing yards. I think Tennessee has a great front seven. We saw them stuff it earlier this last week. I like Brees Hall at under 75.5 total rushing yards here. I think Brees Hall, we saw what they happened last week. They could not move the ball. I think he had 40 yards or something like that. I don't have that in front of me. I think against a better defense, a better offensive line, he runs even less here. Also, I like this game at an under 40. I think it was at 40.5 total. I don't know what's that at now.
It's still at 40.5. It
So
opened at 43. Now it's at 40.
So I like it at 40.5 as well. I'll take the under that as well. So Brees Hall under 75.5 total rushing yards, total under 40.5. What do you think about it?
I like the Brees Hall play there. I do think this is a bounce back spot for the Jets. I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see Aaron Rodgers play a little better here. I don't think this Titans defense is anywhere near as good as the 49ers. So I like the Jets side on this. I won't be betting the Jets side because I don't bet on the Jets. Period. But
Jets lover. That's all I hear. You guys heard that, right?
I just told you I'm not betting on them. But I do. I like a Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown. That seems like a good play to me right now. I could see him and Rodgers connecting.
It's going to be hard to bet the Titans after what just happened with us this week. But
I'm probably not touching this game outside of maybe a couple props, but just because both those, I don't like betting the Jets and fuck the Titans. They just burned us
So bad, dude.
So bounce back spot for both of them, but I think that I do think the Jets are the better team of the two.
I just need a bounce back bet for myself personally because the Titans screwed me so hard last week. Next game I have Giants versus Washington. I like here Malik Neighbors over 63.5 yards. He had not a shit year last week, but I think that this kid's the truth, man. He's got everything you're looking for in a receiver. I think they're going to get him the ball in his hands. They got nobody else to throw it to. Why not? I think at 63.5, he should get this. What do you guys think?
I like it. I'm a believer. I'm a Neighbors believer. The only thing that's concerning me is just how bad Danny Dimes has looked.
Dimes, bro.
Things are getting really bad there. I mean, did you see the clips of them? Like the fans left the stadium early after another pick that he threw. Yeah. It was the third quarter. They just got up and left, but they still waited outside of the locker room where the players come out to their cars just to heckle the shit out of Danny Dimes. You call him a fucking bum and rip him. Things are getting pretty hairy there. So I'm a little scared I think they're going to scheme. I think they're going to scheme plays for him. I think the offense is centered around Neighbors. My fear is, can Danny Dimes actually get him the ball? But I don't think this Washington team is very good at all. I think they're pretty trash.
What about Jay Daniels?
I think he can run right now. I think it's still, the jury's still out on all these rookie quarterbacks. Rookie quarterbacks infamously don't win unless you're Caleb Williams. You don't win week one. I don't think they haven't won a week one game since starting rookie quarterback has won a week one game since 2001.
Jeez.
I think was the last time. And then Caleb Williams broke that curse without scoring a touchdown somehow.
A win's a win.
And he threw for 140 yards. So I don't know. I don't want to take a stand on any of these rookie quarterbacks yet. But look, Jaden Daniels is an athlete. We know that. We saw him. He ran for 2 touchdowns. They looked a lot better in the second half of that game, but it was a moot point at that point. They were getting trounced. I don't know. Right now, I don't want to pick a side on that game just because I think it's going to be an ugly looking football game.
Sure.
But I do like the neighbors over 60, 63 yards or something like that. 63 and a half.
63 and a half. I think they just went up to 64 and a half.
I like that. I like that prop. I think Danny Dimes has to at least bounce back to help out neighbors a little bit. One thing with the Giants, with the G-men, they can't look any worse. I don't know what jerseys they wore last week. They need to just throw those away forever.
The Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to bet the Giants going into Washington, even though Washington's not this great team either. The Giants look terrible.
And if Danny Dimes doesn't have a good game, they might just lynch him when he gets back to New York. So, like, he better.
You could also look at the Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't know if I'm saying that. I'm pretty sure it's Wan'Dale Robinson. The overs, he's like kind of one of those check down receivers that Danny Dimes just throws to. He's been getting those receptions. I don't have any other bets that I really like that much in the NFL. Did I miss any that you liked or any games that you were looking at?
I like I'll give you a couple here. I do the Rams Cardinals over. I think the Cardinals are going to be a really fun overs team this year.
Okay.
I think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. Their defense is awful. Their defense is still 3 years away. There's a lot of work to be done there. They have some young guys there. They're trying to improve it, but that secondary is trash. So I think they're playing a million games in domes. I think they have like over 13 games in domes this year. So I think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. They're going to be behind in these shootouts. I like them as an overs team, and it's at 48.5 right now. The only thing that concerns me a little is the Rams got decimated with injuries in week one. That O-line is falling apart. Stafford lost his left tackle. Puka now is out. Is going IR for at least 4 weeks.
Cup looked really good, though.
Yeah, there's still talent on this offense. Stafford is still borderline Hall of Famer, in my opinion. And I could see, and I still like the Rams at +1. You're basically getting them. It's a money line pick. I like the Rams side on this. I'm still waiting to see a little more before I make a play on it. As far as picking a side, I want to see what's the injury reports for tomorrow and Friday. Mm-hmm. But I'm for sure I've already bet the over on this game, so that's definitely one that I like. And another one that I like is give me the Chiefs right now at -5. I think this Bengals team is in a rough spot. Higgins doesn't look like he's going to play again. Chase is like half in, half out right now. And without them, Burrow didn't look good. He was messing with his wrist again. That team just looked like it was in a little bit of shambles. And now they're going into Arrowhead against Mahomes and the Chiefs. And right now it's only at -5. So go ahead and give me that.
Yeah, easy. Chucky, you got anything for NFL?
No, other than the Eat the Cats parlay.
I love the Eat Cats. Stu, anything for you?
We covered it. I like the Colts. It's my favorite pick this week on the board. Colts -3.
I'll have a lot more prop bets for sure later in the week. We'll post them on the IG.
Absolutely. So yeah, as always, we've been doing pretty well actually in college football for sure. NFL, we did pretty well last week too. Obviously the Titans was a tough beat. That was in God's hands. You can't blame that. We're going to do this one. We flipped it. The Panthers are going to take this game. They're going to destroy. And any common sense is out the window. They got this one. The
Panthers had a bye last week.
They're coming in fresh, dude. They're coming in fresh. Don't even worry about last week. They're coming in fresh. So listen, make sure you guys follow, subscribe. Make sure you guys check out our Instagram. We're still doing geocaches. So you're getting free money for just freaking following us, just showing up and looking for it. We put out all of our picks for free. Everything's absolutely for free. You guys pay nothing. It only helps us out. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you to Carlos, to Stupid Stu, Jav. Always beautiful to see you. Oh, now that I see you, you do have some soccer picks. Am I right?
Fifth one, Fulham +145 money line home against West Ham. Little London derby at the Cottage on the River Thames. Fulham +145.
You heard that from the people across the.
Is that tomorrow?
That's on Thursday.
That's on Saturday, 10 a.m.
Saturday. So make sure you guys, especially you folks across the pond who love your football, your European football, not the good old American version. Make sure you guys take that.
Just placed it.
Dude, what I love about having Javi on the pod, and this is why he's my co-host, this is why he's my man, is he gets so excited for bets. He just puts them in.
Look at that smile.
It's just
I
blind
do.
and goes
And
in.
listen, right now, like just with the new baby, like I don't do anything but I'm just balls deep in like diapers and gambling. There's nothing else to do.
It's a good place to be. It's a good place to be.
3 a.m. wake up, gotta change a diaper, fire up a couple bets.
What are the Shanghai Tigers doing today? Let's go in. I love it. No, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much to our listeners. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Remember to always bet responsibly. Thank you. Have a good one.
Later, boys.
Later.
You've been listening to First Step. We told you we don't take this too seriously, didn't we? I'd say we've proven that. Yes, we love sports, and we love sports betting. But we like the funner side, not the stuffy side. We hope you had a blast like we did. If so, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on Instagram and TikTok at First Step Bets. See you next time on First Step.